everybody. Here looking at an Intel Core i3 3110M Ivy Bridge processor for a laptop. Anything particular special about this chip? Well, first of all, it came out of a part system about 2 years ago. A parts laptop I probably paid about, I don't know, $20 to $30 for. Laptop had a dead motherboard, but I salvaged this thing out of it, with the intention of maybe swapping it into something sometime in the future. Why, look at there. Yes, it's the new Toshiba satellite laptop that replaced the, well, it's not brand new, but, you know, you get the idea. It is the successor to the Inspiron 1525. And I have used this for a day now, and I'm quite satisfied with it. I mean, it's not perfect, but hey, I think it's pretty nice. So how can we make it nicer? Well, can we upgrade this from Sandy Bridge to Ivy Bridge? That's the question. I've already went through the process of updating the system BIOS to, I think, version 1.7, and we are going to see if this notebook will accept an Ivy Bridge processor. So first thing you always want to do is take the battery out of the laptop before you start to work on it. So we are going to go ahead and tear into this thing and switch out the CPU. Hopefully this won't take too awful long. This isn't really going to be like a how-to, but you can follow along if you happen to have this particular notebook. This is a satellite C855 series. It's a C855-S5236. And with laptops, you basically, you know, remove all screws from the bottom, at least ones like this. Some newer laptops are taking on different designs, but I've been doing laptop repairs for about 7 years, and it's safe to say that most of them go together about the same or similar. Just make sure I have all the screws out. And we got one under this door, I'm sure. Because unlike my 1525 Dell, this requires you to disassemble the thing in order to change out the processor. Kind of a bummer, but yeah, whatever. Not too big of a deal. And while I'm in here, I might also change out the Wi-Fi card for one that actually supports, let's see, 5 gigahertz wireless in. Because the one that's in here right now does not. Yet the card I put in my 1525 does. But I can't swap it over because it's not the same kind of card. It's the longer mini PCIe. And this one takes the really, really small one. Okay, so we have a screw here. And of course the SSD just pops right out. I put that in there last night actually. And we can locate the screw. This one here, if you can see, is the one in charge of removal of the CD drive. Now mind you guys, I've never taken apart this particular model laptop. It's just, I happen to know from experience, you know, I have a tendency to figure these things out. And luckily this is one of the models that seems to have the same kind of screw size. I got a whole pile of screws here that, you know, with the exception of the CD drive and a screw under the CD drive itself. The rest of them are exactly the same size. Okay, it looks like we're all set under here, so turn this around. And this one, it looks like the keyboard comes out slightly different than what I'm used to. Matter of figuring the thing out, really. Aha! Looky here. This is actually, this laptop is more like the newer ones I've dealt with. So will it need a full disassembly or will it not? Okay, this little screw here needs to come out. It's a little bitty guy too. I do think it needs to come out. We shall see. Not sure how well you're picking this up on video, but oh, there we go. You know, guys, this isn't, let's see. You gotta be careful when you're popping these things open. Well, look at there. That wasn't too bad. So take that back in regards to my statement previously about said screw located right here. That does not actually have to come out. So actually this laptop would be more like some of the newer ones I've dealt with. Where the whole bottom just comes off and you have easy access right there. So, to change out our CPU, we'll just remove our cooler. Go ahead and disconnect the fan lead. So this thing isn't actually that bad after all. While I'm here, I'm also going to change out this Wi-Fi card, as I mentioned. This I think it's a Realtek card, I'm not sure. If my memory serves me right. Yeah, I'll be quite honest with you. You know, when I started working on laptops back in 2009, well, I started taking it apart around maybe 2008 or so. I always wondered why they didn't just, the whole shell didn't just count the bottom. Well, if you look at here, they finally figured things out. I mean, this is easy. Not as easy, not, in regards to the processor, not as easy access as a 1525, but to take the bottom of the machine completely off to gain this much access to the machine and the whole inside the laptop, you can't beat it. At least I think. Okay. So I didn't need to actually take the fan loose. But this is a good opportunity to clean out all that. Yeah, guys, look at there. Now, surprisingly, this thing was actually breathing quite well. The fan was actually getting plenty. It was pushing air through there, but it wasn't. It was not overheating or anything like that. So, I mean, so I guess at this point we can resecure our fan because I don't even need to remove it. You know, in many cases there's some things about Toshiba I don't like, but I have to give them a thumbs up for this design. Getting this easy of access to the laptop, to the inside your laptop. That's an A plus in my book. So to release the processor, you just turn your screw, that unlocks it. Pretty much typical affair with laptops. Here's our Sandy Bridge Pentium dual core. And I guess while we had both these out, let's go and just do a little side-by-side comparison, shall we? You can see the Sandy Bridge processor has a bigger die. This is the Sandy Bridge. This is the Ivy Bridge. When you look at the difference there. Huh, interesting. So, these are backwards compatible. If you look at the bottom of them, actually, they are the same. Pin-wise, yeah. Now, what's funny is the socket. You know, if you look at the corner, in this, I know it's hard to see on the camera. You see how there's two pins going right here. Now, in the motherboard socket, there is only one hole missing. Kind of interesting. So let's swap in our Core i3 Ivy Bridge processor. And let's go ahead and tighten this down. It's time to go ahead and clean the remaining surface on top of the CPU die and the heat pipe. And apply some fresh thermal paste. Thermal paste. Nail polish remover works very well for for cleaning processors and heat sinks, that kind of thing. I've used it. I've used both that and a Windex. And both of them seem to work pretty well, but you know, the rubbing alcohol in the nail polish remover is just far superior. Yeah, guys, I can't wait to see how this is going to run. Hopefully this motherboard will accept it. Clean this crap off of our heat pipe. Now, both of these chips, from what I read on the CPU World site, they both have the same TDP. So, cooling-wise, it should be just fine. One thing I definitely can say with my day's experience with Sandy Bridge is even though this battery in this laptop, I think it's like a 47 watt hour battery and it's only charging up to like 30 or 32 watt hours, I still got like 4 to 5 hours of runtime on the battery today, which is impressive. And with the Ivy Bridge, we have slightly better efficiency, power, less power consumption. Turn my camera just a little bit. There we go. It's been a while since I posted a really, in-depth laptop teardown on Q Computer Channel. Which, amazingly, with this thing, is not too much to it. Something like this, for one who's not very experienced with laptop repair, yeah, I could see this be a little less intimidating to work on. Just make sure that's nice and clean there. Do the same for the heat pipe. It's less intimidating to work on because there's less involved with taking the thing apart. There's some laptops out there that would just drive you insane. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is grab this CPU, this thermal paste spreader. I use these for chipsets and laptop processors because they have just an exposed die. Now with the heat spreaders, you know, you can do the spread method, or you can do a P in the center. You know, it depends on your preference, but with these kinds of setups, you know, where the die is exposed. For some of you who've been working on computers since the days of the Pentium 3 and the Athlon XP, you know, or just the Thunderbird Athlon and Durons, it's a good idea to just spread the stuff out. The spreader, really, I think. More than really needed there, but this thing doesn't give you a lot of control. Let's get a good flat coating there. There we go. See how much extra we have. I say we didn't really need a whole lot on here. I hate when you end up wasting thermal paste. Oh well. This stuff is like $10 per syringe. And we'll just pop this back in place. And we'll tighten it in the listed method on the cooler. Basically, this thing is numbered 1 through 4. Try to get this to pop in there. There we go. Basically, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's actually numbered on the cooler. Okay. Plug our fan back in because we didn't really need to unplug it in the first place. And we're going to switch out our Wi-Fi card, as I mentioned. I guess it's luck of the draw. See if the one I pick has N450. You know, 5 GHz support. Matter of fact, I could look these up if I wanted to, but this one came out of a Toshiba sometime back when. But here we have this Intel wireless card, and it came out of the same exact notebook that Core i3 Ivy Bridge chip came out of. Now if I just get rid of that stupid replace with HP spare sticker, I might be able to see a little more information about our product here. Hey, don't you just love what OEMs do to these things. So, okay. Back to camera up this a tad bit. Wireless card is right here. Pop these two antenna wires out. In this case, the main wire is the white one, the auxiliary is the black one. Pop this into place. I'm going to reattach the screw first. Close this nail polish remover, it stinks. Big time. Reattach that. Reattach our antenna wires. Here we are. Now let's go ahead and reassemble the laptop, which in this case should be relatively easy. Now guys, for the moment of truth. Will this laptop accept an Sandy Bridge processor? What's funny is I didn't realize until after I started working on this that I hibernated Windows instead of shut it down last. Curious to see how it behaves. Let's readjust the camera just a little bit. Go view the screen. Alright. And it accepted it. See how Windows behaves coming out of hibernation. Yep, it's installing devices, obviously. Okay, it actually didn't. What's interesting here is yeah, it just booted up like normal. So there we go. Let's see what a Wi-Fi card can do. Not sure if it's even 5G cable because normally my Wi-Fi network would show two different ones. It would show the DD-WRT and the DD-WRT 5G for 5 GHz. So, oh well. Maybe some other day I might try again. Try on other cards and see how it does. But yeah. Check this out. We now have the Core i3 3110M Ivy Bridge. So definitely, that was a nice upgrade. See, there's always a good reason behind keeping things, you know, like processors and whatnot, because, you know, I've had this chip for probably maybe a year or two. Pulled it out of a dead HP. Matter of fact, if I can find the video on Q Computer Channel, I'll link into the description. If I don't, well, I don't know. Remind me, I guess. So, yeah. Our new laptop is now an Ivy Bridge laptop, so very nice. And I figure for those of you who may be curious about how it behaves with the SSD, I mean, the thing just flies. And I imagine startup time might be a little faster now with this new processor. So let's go and restart it. Oh, nice, TeamViewer. Thank you. And there we are. Now, let's go ahead and do a shutdown and start up utilizing Windows 10's fast startup and see how much faster it starts up that way. And we just shut down. Start it up. Didn't even see the spinning circles. Oh gosh. Impressive. That was impressive. Yeah, this thing is absolutely screams. Very impressed with it. Finally making full use of my SSD. And it's still calculating battery time remaining. Well, we just booted up, so it's saying close to 3 hours, and look, it's already going up. Once the idle's down, it's already saying 3 hours and 27 minutes remaining. I'm pretty impressed with it. Now this battery, let me go grab hardware monitor and show you the health status of the battery. I'm actually just going to copy this file over to my machine, because I found, for some weird reason, if I run off the network, it literally will cause Windows to hang. Let's see how it does with the file on here. Apparently it still doesn't. Okay, well, let's figure this out. Okay, so I went online and just downloaded it from CPU ID's website, but it's actually the same version. So what I did is I just ran it as administrator, and it seems to be behaving itself now. And you can see that the processor idle is at about 40C, which isn't bad for our laptop CPU. So basically, our battery has a design capacity of 47 watt-hours and change, and the full charge capacity of it right now is about 38.5 watt-hours. So the battery does have some age on it, but even with 38 watt-hours, at 93% it estimates 3.5 hours remaining, so pretty impressive. Can't complain there. Now I am planning on putting a better battery in this sooner or later. You know, if I get a better battery for this, that'll give me a chance to maybe extract some more 18650 cells from my flashlights and stuff. So it's kind of a win-win there. So anyways, that concludes upgrading this Toshiba Satellite was it C855 series laptop from Sandy Bridge to Ivy Bridge. If you guys enjoyed this video, any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.